Namaste. Welcome back to Top Tarot Trumps, beautiful souls. This series is soon coming to an end, and today is all about the Judgment card. Then I have the World card, and I will have one more surprise video after that before I have a gathering with Masha and some of the other content creators on YouTube who have been participating in this series. So not quite over, but getting close to that. So good afternoon to you, Aria. Welcome. Yes, I got to sleep a bit more today. And you are feeling more refreshed. Okay, you also got to sleep later. So welcome. All right, let's go. We have a lot of cards on the table, and I've had quite a time. There are some incredible Judgment cards in my library of decks, and this has been quite a project to pick out just a few of them. And one of the things I want to talk about right off the top is the title Judgment. And in no way, to me, is this a card of being judged. And I hope you can give me a bit of space here to talk about these cards and what this card has come to unfold through years of tarot reading, so that you can it's really hard, it's really painful for me actually to watch people read this card as, oh, all right, this is a time where I, as a human, as a person, are being judged, or my work is being judged, or something is being evaluated. And I don't see that in that way. And so this is what I want to work through. And even if you are working with a deck that has heavy Christian symbology depicting something similar to the last day of judgment, there's a transition that is happening here. And one of the words you often hear me use on my channel is frequency. And there's a shift of frequency within your cellular body. It's like at this point when this card comes, it's you are fine-tuning. There's something within you that is no longer able to function at the mundane level that you once were working. And of course, this comes in varying gradients. This is not necessarily either a major spiritual awakening for a lot of people. Yet there is this doorway, this pathway that is opening up. And so let's look at the Osho Zen card for a second here in the center. What does it mean when the third eye chakra awakens? And how do we do that? You know, that is often a question, because we would all like to trust our intuition. We would all love to have a bigger, be able to see a wider picture at all times. And know that my understandings, my studying comes through yogic sadhana. So I have practiced chakra sadhana, chakra practices, both here in Canada with one of my teachers, as well as in India, and over many years. And I have worked with the lessons and the yoga psychology of the chakras personally. So this is not something that is book learned. It's something that's sort of within me, and it's one of my favorite things to teach. And this is why I created Tarot Through the Chakras. And this is a course that you can pick up on my shop at any time. Integrative Healing with Sadhana.com shop. The tarot courses are all there, and you can pick this up. And this is a class that took a little bit of tweaking, and it's funny, my third eye just sort of comes alive as soon as I said tweaking. So maybe I did okay. I did a Tarot Through the Chakras 1, a Tarot Through the Chakras 2, and then I created a sort of a refinement, a blend of these two courses. And if you want to work with me more, you can connect through the comments in any of those videos. It's a pre-recorded class, and then we can do some more work where you are stuck, so to speak. So what does it mean to awaken the third eye chakra? And is this a part of the Judgment card? For sure it is, because this is a card of portals and openings and awakenings. And we need to stimulate and, sort of, what's that tool that goes into the earth to create, like a jack? For some people, it's like a jackhammer, quite literally, to begin to tap into the third eye chakra. For other people, it can happen very quickly. And I do have a free class in my shop that is called TRATAKA, TARTAKA. And that is a particular yogic practice, candle work. You can do it with other things as well too, that helps with awakening the third eye. And so in many of these books, I glanced at a few of the guidebooks that go with these decks. There is this conversation between dream and illusion. And illusion is a term that is often used to describe the way we see the world that we live in. So if you want to use a matrix, Keanu Reeves kind of analogy, this is how most humans navigate the world. And it's only when we swallow the red pill, hope I got the pill color right, that we can see what is going on behind the scenes. Now, this experience of seeing what's going on behind the scenes is one that takes years of practice and dedication to meditation, and there's lots of ways to tap into it. But there's a lot of letting go that happens and a lot of healing that happens. And so this is the 20th arcanum, right? It's 20, it's XX, it's double change. So there's a lot of layers that are built into this card. And I find often this card arises when people are ready to dive into this a meditation practice, or they're ready to do the preparation for the awakening. It doesn't necessarily signal, you will be awakened kind of thing. Yeah. But I love the Osho Zen card, and I'm going to read from a couple of texts that I have on the table. The butterfly is the card that represents the outer, that which is constantly moving, and that which is not real but an illusion. Behind the butterfly is the face of consciousness, looking inward to that which is eternal. The space between the two eyes has opened, revealing the lotus of spiritual unfoldment and the rising of awareness, of the rising sun of awareness. Through the rising of the inner sun, meditation is born. The card reminds us not to look outside for what is real, but to look within. When we focus on externals, we too often get caught up in judgments. This is good, this is bad, I want this, I don't want this. These judgments keep us trapped in our illusions, our sleepiness, our old habits, and our patterns. Drop your opinionated mind and move inside. There you can relax into your own deepest truth, where the difference between dreams and reality is already known. And this card is called Beyond Illusion in this deck. And I think it's kind of interesting. Where is... Oh, this one. This card here is from the Beautiful Rebellion Tarot by Robin Cole. And she has an Eckhart Tolle quote that says, "Spiritual awakening is awakening from the dream of thought." So in that way, it's when we truly find the space between our thoughts. And you know, one key word I have never seen on this card is epiphany. And it's like that moment when suddenly, and maybe it's not like like I said, not a huge awakening that can be very difficult to navigate, but you just get this clarity about a particular issue that you have been hitting your head against a wall for maybe years. And it's like, oh, now I understand. And that then can begin to unfold successive mini epiphanies. So that's really beautiful. And this painting in the Beautiful Rebellion, I do like to share these, is by Lord Frederick Leighton, circa 1895. It's called, what is her name? Clytie, Greek Clytie. She was a water nymph, the daughter of the Titans Oceanus and Tethys. She was the lover of the sun goddess Helios, but he eventually deserted her to pursue Leucothea, the daughter of Orcamus. Clytie was enraged and, okay, so this goes into this myth. Realizing the error of her ways and what her jealousy had driven her to, Clytie lay naked for 9 days on the rocks, staring up at the sun without drinking or eating. On the 9th day, she was transformed into a flower, the heliotrope, which turns toward the direction of the sun. So in that way, her letting go of jealousy, or maybe a deeper understanding of what her husband's purpose was, awakened something in her. So, yeah, lots of ways to connect to this card. We have another Greek myth, and that is from the Dark Goddess Tarot. I had this on the table just a moment ago. This is the Persephone myth. And you know that expression, once you see it, you can't unsee it, or once you know it, you can't unknow it? There is an aspect to that as well, too, in these cards. So this would be the epiphany that Arjuna had on the battlefield when Krishna revealed himself. And there are other great epics where that sort of thing happens. And one of my favorite books I've shared a few times is Autobiography of a Yogi. And Swami Yogananda's teacher is called Sri Yukteswar. And Sri Yukteswar if you can get through that book, there's a lot of Indian place names and Indian names. It can be kind of challenging to read if you're not familiar with, when I read, sometimes I have to roll those names off my tongue, but it gets much easier now because of my familiarity with Sanskrit and Hindi. So, sorry, this got nothing to do with my point here. Sri Yukteswar, Swami Yogananda's teacher, is enlightened and is able to move from location to location. If you want to use Harry Potter words, disapparate, apparate kind of thing. Like he can appear in different places at the same time even. And it's really a mind-boggling experience as Yogananda begins to understand this. So there are places where we can read about this at quite a elevated spiritual level, but bringing it more down to earth, this is really deep and profound healing understandings. When I've shared the Wildwood 20th card many times, read this meditation aloud from the extra book a few times for you, and in the meditation for this card, you enter into the cave, and there's different parts that you walk in, and you connect with your ancestors, and there's a great healing, a great message. There's a gift that comes out through connections with your ancestors. And so in that kind of way, there is an epiphany. And over here is Tarot of the Hidden Realm. There's so many sweet little children in this deck. But when I think of this acorn oak metaphor, the gift that is given here, sometimes we don't really realize that the great oak comes from an acorn, and however you can, however that might appear as a metaphor in your life, when something hits you like that, it's really powerful. And that's what this card is for me. This is it's like it cracks you open in some way. And you can't unsee what you see, and you can't unknow what you now know. I haven't had, I did do years ago a lily white and lily black side-by-side comparison. If you aren't aware, these are different decks. It's not simply some sort of magical transformation of the lily white into the lily black. They're actually different paintings, very similar, some more so than others. And in this one, you can see quite a difference in the 20th Arcanum. And there's something very powerful about there's a melting away here. There's a fire energy. It feels like a process. I can feel the process of transformation. And in the black card, I see a cup and the butterfly emerging from the cup to the clouds, to the rainbow that is surrounding maybe the moon. And either way, it's this unfolding of you, unfolding of these layers that you have had cloaked, literally, on you for so long. Maybe layers of protection that you are now ready to release. Something has shifted, so you have the courage to release these layers. And, I think this is a good point that the energy of the energy of the major arcana is nuanced. And depending on the question and what the querent is working through, there's many different directions we can go with the card. And so very deck specific images like Persephone, for example, can make it hard to find your way with a deck. And yeah, so if this is I would not recommend working with mythological decks as a beginner deck. They would be a supplemental deck to your exploration of the majors, for sure. Hi, Perry. Welcome. Blessings. Blessings to you. Okay, so let's see what else is on the table. Judgment. This is the Star Seeker Tarot. Again, kind of that transformation through fire energy that I see in the Lily White Tarot. And, there's some really powerful majors in this deck. And if you don't have the Sasarai Bito, look at some of the pictures online, because Stacey Burrington has really done a clever job of tapping into an interpretation of the majors. And this is one that I quite like. Behind that one is the Gaian Tarot. This is a beautiful collage. And it feels, my story about chanting at the river during the yoga retreat, that story, that's what this feels like to me. Whoa, that's thing. Angels are real. The other side is real. The spirituality thing is among and within us. And I love the colors, truly, of this card. To its left is another one that's been... When I saw this is from Herb Crafter Tarot, and it just touched my heart so gently, because it's such an Indian thing. And the Tulsi Mala, is a mala that is connected to the frequency of Krishna. And when you're chanting a lot of Krishna mantras, a Tulsi Mala is suggested. And also a Tulsi Mala was what I was given when, was it I think so. Oh my goodness. I have a Tulsi Mala anyway, for my initiation. But if I think about mantra sadhana and the practice of mantra sadhana, it's another way to help focus the mind and begin your journey to awakening. Yeah, and that's so Tulsi is holy basil, and when I see a card like this, it just reminds me of how important these practices are for our health and our wellness and our healing. I'm sure there's several decks that have phoenixes in this card. And so that metaphor, if you connected that certainly works really well. This one is from the Chrysalis Tarot, not one you've seen often in this series, maybe once before. And to its left is the Tarot of Saint Croix. Now, I had this card for a personal reading, and there's a lot that's going on here. There's a person in the foreground with their hands in a energetic gesture. And then at their crown, there's a person in the distance meditating. And then there's this beam of light that comes down over both of them. And there's this connection through time and space and worlds and ancestors and dimensions, and it's a really cool card. I think there's a lot, like if you actually sat with this card, there's a lot that may arise should it appear in a reading. Lisa St. Croix has some really great transformation cards. I'm thinking 10 of Wands is another one that is brilliant. And these are 2 cards from James Eads' Light Prisma Visions. And I've seen the door used in other decks as well too for Judgment, and I wanted to have at least one door card here. And in Light Visions, it's simply a light. And so, and in the Prisma Visions, you see all these funky colors and a sort of a swirl of energy. If you have ever, I don't know what gone through a time warp, if you've ever, I mean, not many people have had that kind of experience. I did once in Kobe, Japan, where something happened. I actually had a lunch. This is a weird story. You may not even believe me. I had a lunch. So we were walking around Kobe. This was with a friend of mine, a male friend, and we found this French restaurant on this back street in this neighborhood. We were just walking and walking and walking and talking, and came upon this French restaurant, and we went in. We had this magnificent meal, and the waiters were Japanese, and they spoke beautiful French, and it was romantic, it was magical. And then we came out, and then we thought the next day we would go back and just have a cappuccino or something, and because it was so special. And we went back to this street, and there was no sign of this restaurant. Like it wasn't there. And we both never really talked about that experience. But sometimes we do. We walk through holes. And yeah, so I think also if you've ever had that kind of experience, this does happen sometimes. So yeah, there's a lot of ways that our higher self can communicate and confirm, there's much more to this life than this mundane 3D world that we live in. And so for me, this is a card of shifting, major shifting energy. And from this pile, I will choose 5. Somehow, some way, I will choose 5. I'm going to try. Okay. I'm going to choose the Sasarabito because I think it is a reminder of the letting go part of this arcanum. The wild unknown expanding into its accompanying meditation, I think, is a reminder that we can complete some of these pieces through deep meditation and connection with our ancestors. For mysterious and portal type connections, the Prisma visions. And I said just how deeply touched I am by the Herb Crafter Tarot. The practice of mantra meditation in general, mantra sadhana, and the Osho Zen, because in varying degrees we can all tap into our expanding third eye energy. And like I said, for some people it is like concrete, and you don't want to go in with a jackhammer. I was kidding. We need to go in kind of gently, peeling away layer by layer. So, and if you need help with that, please reach out. Okay, like I said, I can link you to, and maybe I'll come back later and put that down below, that free class that I have in my shop. So it might be $1, maybe. Yeah. So thank you for being here, and I appreciate all of your contributions, Arya and Perry. Have a lovely rest of your day. Take good care. Namaste.